Hey everyone, it's Nikki and welcome back to another Furry Reviews video. Now, if you watched till the very end of my last video, you saw that I watched Sonic Boom and was like, oh, this is pretty good, I really like this. And so I watched another Sonic related thing, and then another, and then another, and another, and it's safe to say that I am a pretty big Sonic fan now. Well, pretty big. I like it a lot. Let's just put it at that. So since this month is actually the 30th anniversary month of the original Sonic the Hedgehog game from back in 1991, I wanted to make a little mini series within this Furry review series, reviewing ultimately just a random assortment of Sonic related content that I have watched. What that means is that you're going to be getting a couple videos this month dedicated specifically to Sonic and nothing else. So if you're not a fan of Sonic or you don't care about Sonic, I will see you in July. But if you are a fan, stick around. So for today's episode, I'm going to be talking about Sonic Mania Adventures, which was a 2D animated series of shorts that were released in kind of as a promotion for Sonic Mania, but also I think they came after the game was released, and they are set after the events of that game along with Sonic Forces. So yeah, they are a series of shorts that are on YouTube that were created by Sega. They were animated by Neko Productions, and they were written and directed by Tyson Hess. The first episode was released March 30th, 2018. So like I mentioned earlier, these shorts are set after the events of Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces, and they're set in the world of classic Sonic as he has to deal with Eggman, along with Knuckles, Tails, Mighty, Ray, Metal Sonic, and in the Christmas special, Amy Rose. So before I started talking about the technical elements of these shorts, I wanted to first start by talking about my favorite parts. So right off the bat, I just wanted to say that the background art for this series is really cool. Like, I don't really pay attention to backgrounds that much. I admit I'm more focused on the characters a lot of the time, but just the environment design in this little animated series, it's really beautiful and it's really nice to look at. So I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to you kind of environmental designers and background artists out there. I know your work is probably underappreciated by most people such as myself, but you turned it out in this series. I also really liked the music and sound effects. They fit the action and tone of this series really well. It's almost like a mixture of kind of the old school Inkblot or like classic music that would accompany those kinds of shorts, like Merry Melodies and Silly Symphonies, that kind of stuff. But it takes that and it also mixes it with this kind of 8-bit video game style music, and I think it just fits the series really well. So one of my favorite moments comes in the very first episode where Sonic is kind of fighting Eggman and he ends up in his trap, but then Eggman also winds up in his own trap, and Sonic manages to wriggle himself free, and Eggman is kind of like pleading with puppy dog eyes for Sonic to free him, but Sonic ultimately decides not to free him. It just turns around, walks away, hits the bomb so the timer speeds up, and pieces out. And I just thought that that was such a funny way to end that little short. Then there's just Knuckles. Knuckles is just iconic. There's nothing else to say. I mentioned in my Sonic Boom video that Knuckles is my favorite character, and I think that that continues with these shorts. He's not as dim-witted as he's portrayed in the Sonic Boom series, but he's a little like, not quite putting all the pieces all together, but I just thought that his expressions were fun, his action, his zero tolerance for Ray and Mighty, it was all great. And I love his appearance in the finale, or I guess the finale not including the Christmas special. So Metal Sonic is one of the primary antagonists of this little mini-series, and he has this really cool leitmotif. Every time he's on screen, he has his little theme music, and I just thought that his theme music was really cool. So that kind of ties into the previous point about the music more generally, but I specifically wanted to highlight Metal Sonic's theme as like something that I really enjoyed. So Mighty and Ray are back in this series as they were in Sonic Mania Plus, I believe. And Mighty and Ray were characters who were in some like really old 90s arcade game that is basically lost to history, but they're back and they're buds. And Mighty is the super strong armadillo and Ray is a flying squirrel. And there's one scene where Mighty kind of fist bumps Ray, and in a similar vein to how Knuckles often doesn't know his own strength, Mighty definitely doesn't know his own strength here and accidentally punches poor little Ray out of the clearing and just that whole scene, his expression after he realizes what he did and chases after Ray, just pure comedy gold. I really liked it. Then there's a scene in the final episode where Sonic, being the little bit of an egomaniac that he is, challenges Metal Sonic to fight him, and you just see Tails kind of in the background, just like, oh god, what is Sonic getting himself into? Just kind of cringing, like, oh, here we go again. Love you, Tails. In this same scene, Dr. Eggman shows that he actually has eyes behind his little, what are they called? Nez pinch glasses? Yeah, so most of the time he's just depicted as if his glasses were his eyes, but there's a brief moment where he kind of is peering over his glasses, and it is very funny and very well done, and I really just enjoyed that little expression that he had, that kind of deviation from how he's typically depicted. And last but not least, there are some of the events of the Christmas special, which takes place several months after the series ends, which leads to a lot of questions about how a bird might have survived inside of Metal Sonic, but that is for like game theory. I don't want to deal with trying to answer that question. But so Metal Sonic was kind of left in the snow, basically to die a little robot death, but then Amy saves him, and just the whole interaction with Amy saving Metal and Metal's reaction to Amy saving him is very sweet and heartwarming. That whole episode was really cute. It's the first appearance of like classic Amy Rose in like a billion years. She didn't appear in the Sonic Mania or Sonic Mania Plus games, so just seeing her in general was kind of a sweet callback moment, but her interaction with Metal Sonic was like really, really sweet throughout the episode. I think I said sweet like 1,000 times. All right, now we're moving on to the technical elements of this little series, which include the storytelling, the art style and character design, the setting, the editing, and the sound and music. Storytelling. This series does an amazing job as storytelling with no dialogue. Even for someone who's not as familiar with the lore of these characters, particularly in like regarding Mighty and Ray, it's clear how they relate to one another just based on their interactions and what their goals are in the series. Art style and character design. I love the art for this series. It's so cute. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to kind of invoke the Sonic CD intro art with the kind of classic Sonic character designs with the like chubby little Sonic with a big head, little body, and big anime eyes, of course. We all love the big anime eyes. Although he kind of has big anime eyes in every incarnation, but it just hits a little different in this particular style. I also think that the series mixes 2D and 3D animation well. There's not a ton of 3D animation, mostly just regarding like Eggman's machines flying through the sky and that kind of stuff. But because of the use of cell shading, I think that the 3D and the 2D blend pretty well together. Setting. It's a little bit hard to get a sense of the world in this series. It's clear that the characters reside on some sort of tropical island, although apparently one that snows around Christmas time, conveniently, where Eggman has an evil lair in the mountains, but other than that, there's kind of like no sense of civilization or even like villages or residences in this series. It's shown that like Knuckles sleeps with the Emerald, as he does in basically all of the other series, but like, does Sonic have a house? Do Mighty and Ray have houses? Where the hell did Amy come from? You know, that kind of stuff. This isn't a bad thing. This is just an observation. That's not really the focus of the series. The focus is just wacky little hijinks between Sonic and Eggman as Eggman is trying to steal the Chaos Emeralds and Sonic and Co. are trying to stop him from stealing the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a minor point, really, but I wanted to touch on it. Editing. As is fitting for the fastest little hedgehog alive, the editing for this show is really fast-paced, particularly during like the action sequences, with some slower segments usually used for comedic effect. The shorts all seem to be just the right length too. They're not stretched out and padded for time or like too short. They're like, wait, no, what just happened? I feel like they're all a great length, which probably has to do with lax time restrictions. Sound and music. The music and sound effects are one of my favorite aspects of this series. Since the characters don't use dialogue, the music and sound effects are used to convey how they emote, kind of like Disney cartoons from back in the day, like I was mentioning a little bit earlier. And as I also mentioned earlier in the favorite parts section, the series blends that kind of classical cartoony, like golden age inkblot era of music with the more modern aesthetic of, well, modern, it's kind of vintage or retro at this point, aesthetic of like 8-bit style music. And I think that that kind of illustrates how this series, along with Sonic Mania, which it is mostly based off, I mean, it has to do with Sonic Forces, but like not really, but it kind of shows how that Sonic Mania and the Sonic Mania Adventures are bringing the best out of like the old and the relatively new, with their music choices and stylistic choices throughout the series. So there's not really a whole lot to compare this series to other than other Sonic Mania, of course. As I mentioned earlier, it reminded me a lot of Sonic CD. The art style also kind of reminds me of the Sonic OVAs from back in the 90s, particularly as Metal Sonic is heavily involved in the plot. There's also a lot of similarities with classic Disney shorts, as well as the modern Mickey Mouse shorts, which are really great, and I'm gonna do a video on those at some point in the future. I feel like Disney, more so than other studios of the Golden Age, really used music like as part of its film language. I feel like Fleischer did a lot of rotoscoping and that kind of stuff, so characters are dancing, but they're not really responding to the music in the same way that Disney shorts are, and I feel like the characters in these animated shorts by Sega are really invoking that particular use of music in animation. So my final thoughts are that this is a cute series that you can enjoy even if you haven't played Sonic Mania or Sonic Forces, even without those games, which I feel like those games, like, yes, it takes place after them, but it doesn't really add much backstory other than showing you why Sonic teleports to the island in the first place. So it's other than that kind of moment, it really works as a standalone series. It's set in the classic universe. And don't forget to watch the Christmas special with Amy and Sonic. There's a compilation of the first, I believe, 5 episodes that was made, you know, like, oh, the complete series. But then after they made that, they released the Christmas episode, so that is not part of it. So don't forget to watch that because it's really cute. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back with a few more Sonic related videos this month. And until then, I'll see you next time. Bye!